Sensation and perception. What's the difference? Sensation is the physical process of stimulating our sense organs by features of the outer world. Perception is the psychological process of organizing and interpreting sensory experience, making sense of what the sense organs have received, and compares new stimuli to previous experiences. Psychophysics is the study of how we make psychological meaning of physical stimuli. Sensory adaptation is the process by which our sensitivity diminishes when an object constantly stimulates our senses. It allows us to be highly sensitive to changes in stimulation. Absolute thresholds is the lowest intensity level of a stimulus we can detect half the time. Just noticeable difference. The smallest amount of change between two stimuli that a person can detect half of the time. Example, tuning a piano. Weber's law is the amount of change in the stimulus necessary to produce a JND depends on the intensity at which the stimulus is first presented. Extrasensory perception, ESP, is the purported ability to acquire information about the world without using the known five senses. Vision. Anatomy of the eye. Pupil is opening in the iris where light enters. Lens sits behind the pupil, bends the light rays that enter the eye to focus images on the retina. Iris is the muscle that forms the color part of the eye. It adjusts the pupil to regulate an amount of light that enters. The cornea is clear, hard covering and protects the lens. The retina is a thin layer of nerve tissue that lines the back of the eye. It's the blind spot where the optic nerve exits the eye from the retina. Optic nerve transmits signals from eye to brain. Photoreceptors are retina cells that convert light energy into nerve energy. Neurons and vision. Neurons is the visual cortex called feature detectors. They analyze the retinal image in response to specific aspects of shapes such as angles, shapes, size of lines, and movements. Gestalt is what we perceive the whole as more than merely the sum of its parts. Law of similarity. We tend to group objects together. Law of proximity. We tend to group objects that are near each other. Good continuation is preference for perceiving stimuli that seem to follow one another as part of continuing pattern. Law of closure. We perceive a whole object in absence of complete information. Gestalt psychologists found that we separate a figure from its background. Color blindness is an inability to perceive certain colors. It is most common in men. Transduction is conversion of physical into neural information, the process that occurs between sensation and perception. Touch. Thermoreceptors, receptor cells sensitive to temperature. Mechanoreceptors are receptor cells in the skin that are sensitive to different tactile qualities. Tactile sensations travel from skin to spinal cord and then to the brain. Pain perception. Nociceptive pain is due to skin damage, like heat, frostbite, chemical burn, or cuts. Pain perception can be affected by emotions. Endorphins is our body's natural painkiller. Analgesics or opioids, morphine, heroin, oxycodone, and hydrocodone. Taste. Papilla-like texture structures on the surface of the tongue have thousands of taste buds. Taste buds are structures inside the papillae that contain taste receptor cells. We have 5 basic taste qualities: bitter, sweet, salty, sour, umami is a meaty, brothy flavor that is more common in Asian foods than it is in the Western cuisine. Smell. Olfactory sensory neurons, receptors for smell, contain cilia hair-like projections in the nasal cavity. Olfactory bulb. For a brain structure that sends information to the brain structures. Sense of smell. Some olfactory bulb fibers go directly to the amygdala. Greater number of sensory neurons will be stimulated by greater concentration of odors. Hearing. Amplitude. Reveals volume. Typical rock concert amplifier volumes of 120 dB can damage your hearing in as little as 15 minutes. Being exposed to loud noise over long periods of time can lead to a loss of hearing. Frequency reveals pitch. Average young adults can perceive sounds that range from a low of 20 Hz to a high of 20,000 Hz. Tones above 16,000 Hz go unheard by people as young as 24. Purity reveals timbre.